whole shebang. What else is there to give you a little bit more peace of mind? I think being part of a survival group would really help. But I'm just looking for some feedback, so I appreciate your guys' input on that. But it doesn't really exist yet. So that means that someone has to go create it, which I don't have time for that.
Oh, come on.
But there's a lot of guys out there. I mean, we're in San Diego, for crying out loud. I mean, how many ex-military guys do we have who know the stuff that need to be known, who could go and who could create that kind of business, and people would be all for it? I don't know. I think it's something that it would be hard to go, nah, I'm good. How could you say, nah, I'm good on that? Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so that's something that doesn't exist out there. You want to talk about opportunities in this country? When I say they're everywhere, they're everywhere. I mean, so that could be a very thriving business right there that would, create additional peace of mind for people. And if there is something, because I put it on Facebook too, and somebody jokingly posted, the first rule of survival group is, don't talk about survival group. Which, I was like, okay, so are you really in a survival group? No, I'm just kidding. All right, so I don't know, is that true? Are they out there but they're hidden? They don't want to be known. Is that the thing with, survival groups, that you just don't tell other people about it? Like, yeah, we're going to do this, but it's got to be all in secret. Because they don't want anyone to know where our food is, or our ammo, or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm just becoming interested in that. I would love to get feedback. If you have or know anything like that, email me, mrcredit.org. If you don't want me to talk about it on the air, just say that in the email, and I won't do it. mrcredit.org, mrcredit.org is where you can email me. All right. So we finally got some data in, guys, about payday loans, which I've been looking for forever. Of course, I've just been going around telling people that they're a bad idea for years. We finally have a study that was done, very intense study. It took multiple years to put all the data together. And it was done by the Insight Center for Community Economic Development. Now, they had to do it based on the data from 2011. This is how long it took to get all this stuff together, a year and a half. The study says that the burden of repaying the loans resulted in $774 million in lost consumer spending and 14,000 jobs. 14,000 jobs and a total of $1 billion when it boils all down to it. 56,000 bankruptcies as a result of payday loans. An additional $169 million out of the economy. Now, we've known that they've been a drain forever. Just all the people that we've talked to, if you're using payday loans, that's a trigger. That's a signal. We need to look at something. What is it? Maybe you own too much house. Maybe you own too much car. Maybe both. Maybe we just need to realign things. We need to get you in the life plan. Step 1, take a close look at your personal finances. How much disposable income do you have? You need to know that number before you know how much you can spend. So if you or anyone you know is on the payday treadmill, then I highly suggest you reach out and help us let us help you figure that out. It's not difficult, it's just math. But sometimes you need someone from an outside perspective to show it to you. It's taking $1 billion a year, if that's true, out of the economy, payday loans, Mike.
I have a little bit of an exception. I have to take a little bit of exception to this. And what I mean by that is subprime loans were blamed for a lot of things. A lot of different types of financing have been blamed for a lot of things.
Sure.
I really take exception to it. And the reason I do is payday loans are a choice. And if you choose to do that, it's because you force yourself into a situation. It's like you said, it's about planning.
Right.
And it's really about budgeting, and it's really about being more careful with your money. I've said for years that people that have gone through a bankruptcy and come out the other side of it are actually better credit risks, I believe, than somebody who's never been through it. Because you go through this humiliating process, and at the end of it, you're actually better at figuring out what your budget's going to be. You're more careful with your money. Most people, not everybody, but most people are. And so I believe the fact that it cost 14,000 jobs, cost 56,000 bankruptcies, all those types of things, it costs us $1 billion. Really, it's because of money mismanagement and also the effect of the economy. Because I'm talking to people every day that have 3 jobs and they still don't make as much money as they made in their previous full-time job, and they're working 60 hours a week versus working 40 hours a week. So we have a lot of people in this economy that are underemployed, and they get to a point to where they've got more month than they have money. And they feel like the only other way to make it work is something like a payday loan.
But by and large, though, the payday loan concept is bad form.
Absolutely.
Because you're borrowing against money you don't have yet to pay bills that are due today. So there's almost no way that can be a solution for tomorrow.
Right.
You know, it's a constant solution for right now that leads to nothing good happening down the road. You know, and it gets people into it gets them in this perpetual thing.
It's like gambling.
Yeah. Well, once you take it once, now the next month you got to do the same thing, because that payday that you're getting has to go for the bills that are due, and so you have to do it every single month. And that's why I think we have to come up with a better solution. And planning is definitely the solution. You know, the life plan is the solution. You go and you take a look, very close look at your finances. You decide, okay, what are my must expenses? What is my income? Now you have a disposable number. Now that's the number you have to make decisions about. You know, but you have to know what those things are in order to know where your money's going, and if you have enough to live a certain way that you want to live.
I do believe a lot of this has to do with the economy too, in terms of people being underemployed and all that. So, you know, if the economy were the strength that it needs to be or should be at this point, that, I mean, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying, you know, if we had full employment, if we didn't have, you know, real unemployment at 11%, for instance, or close to 11% nationwide, that type of thing, it would be a different conversation.
Could be.
But it's also one of those things where if somebody goes out and they take out a payday loan, one of the things that they want to make sure that they do is they compensate for the amount that they're going to be paying in interest to do that. I don't think people understand how high the interest rate can be on a lot of these things, and if they sat down and calculated it, it would make them sick. And what they need to do or be able to do is be able to cut back somewhere else. And how do you do that? How do you cut back on when everything's stretched so thin? How do you cut how do you cut things back? When you have a family and you've got certain requirements and certain things that you have to do, those are hard choices that you make.
I've got a solution for that. In fact, when we come back, I'll tell you, how do you make the tough decision about what not to pay when it comes down to it? It's very easy. I'll explain when we come back.